So, do you happen to hit the ball fat, thin? Do you hook it violently to the left hand side or block it big out to the right hand side? Well, you're probably getting stuck in the downswing. Well, I've got a drill for you that's going to help you improve and get rid of that skid and stuck feeling. So come on, let's go do it. So first of all, what is getting stuck? All right, we see it quite commonly with quite a few golfers nowadays, especially because there's a big push in the modern swing coachings now, where there's getting the club to lay flat in here. You're getting your right elbow tucked into your right side, and then you're turning your body, and you're having to rotate through. And this often gets the club too far behind your hands. Okay, for some golfers, I'm not saying that those coachings are wrong or it's a way to do it. But for some people, they misinterpret those feelings, and they probably don't need to be doing it, but they're doing it because it's the latest trend to do. Especially most amateur golfers, they jump out, the right hip comes in, they're in this position here, the club head is laying way back behind the hands, the club face is in an open position, as we call it, from here. And you've only got really one chance to do here to hit the golf ball, which is to release the hands early, and to try and salvage the shot, and you'll end up getting a lot of forearm rotation through the shot to try and salvage it. And this is when you start getting the big violent hooks to the left hand side, or you're going to leave the club face open and you're going to hit it out to the right hand side. You're going to get caught a little bit behind the ball, because what you're going to try and do from that position is, when you get from this stuck position here, it tilts my body back behind me sometimes. And from here, I'm going to then stay behind. I'm going to either hit it behind the ball, I'm going to release too early, or I'm going to fat the ball. Okay, they're all from the same sort of family. So that's what we generally see golfers have a tendency to do. They're sort of trying to get this club into this laid down position here, or shallow the shaft, as we often hear. The arms start flying out forwards because their bodies, mainly because they're not supple enough to get the right bends and so on and so forth. They're trying to do what the tour players are doing, and it's maybe not for them, if that makes sense. If you're a mid to high handicapper, you shouldn't be doing this sort of stuff, because you're not skilled enough in other areas to do that. Okay, and it's a really nasty shot to get into. And now I spent years myself trying to get into those positions, because I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought it was the professional thing to do. I thought you had to get the club swinging from the inside line to out, and I get caught a little bit behind it myself, and a bit flicky on it sometimes because I'm behind it. I'm releasing the club too early. I get the ball a bit higher. So when I made this drill, or did this thing that helped me to stop that from doing that, my dynamic loft came down, my strikes got better, my ball flight improved, I had more control. So it wasn't for me. Okay, so you've got to have a look at this when you're doing this. It's a feeling that we're going to give you in a minute that's going to help you to correct that. All right, so that's really where we're seeing a lot of golfers sort of really struggling with this. So what should we be doing? Okay, so when we're swinging the golf club down, instead of getting the club being behind us, we want to get a feeling of the club head being released from the top and tipping over our hands, okay, or tipping the shaft, as some people like to used to call it. But what I'm really trying to do is to get the momentum of the club, because when we swing the golf club back, it weighs a certain amount of poundage when we get to about the top here due to momentum and gravities and so on, that I've got to try and react to that. And what we don't want to do is to allow that to happen, is to drop behind us even further. But we're getting people nowadays being told they've got to make that happen. Okay, momentum is going to make that happen. Okay, it's going to, as soon as I start changing my direction in my swing and start using my lower body, it's going to change that, because gravity is going to make that happen, and momentum is going to make it fall behind me. Okay, so I have to offset that. Okay, and I've got to try and make sure that I'm getting the club head to get back on track. Okay, it's a feel though, it's not real, because by the time I add in my body, the club head will fall in the right place. So ideally, when I'm bringing the club down to what we call a delivery position, and this position here, ideally where I'm at here is that the fact that when the shaft is level to the ground, is that the club head feels more like it's in front of me as opposed to being stuck behind me. So if I was looking at myself on the camera from down the line here, I'd like to see the club head being more in line with my hands, okay, and the target line being square to that, as opposed to being behind my hands. If I'm in this position here and I'm dragging the handle towards the ball, then I'm in trouble, because there's the only one way to go from here is to then roll the hands through to try and catch up the face and flip it, as they would call it. Okay, so I'm getting excessive hand and arm action. All right, so it's very important to get that feel when you're swinging the golf club down. So that's what I'm trying to work on. That's what I want to try and get rid of. Okay, I want to try and get the club being back out more in front of me as opposed to being stuck behind me, and that's what we're trying to stop. Okay, so how do we fix that? And what's a great drill to do that and try and get us back on track? Well, we call this one the corners drill, okay? And what I've got here is I've got 2 golf balls that are going to be either side of me, okay? I've got one on a T-peg. Put it on a T-peg to start with. You don't have to be a hero and put it off the ground. And also I'm starting with like a 7-iron as well. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to position this one here. So I've got these ball positioned so that they're on either side of my stance. They're in line with my toes as such, okay, and they're about 6 inches away from each toe, okay, or toe line. And what I'm going to do from here, and the whole point of this is you're going to hit what we call hit the corners, and it's about the butt end of the club. And what you're going to try and do is when you swing the golf club back, I want you to try and get a feeling of the butt end of the club pointing straight down towards that ball that's to the right hand side of me, okay. Finish the swing up, and when I swing back down, I'm going to repoint the club down towards that ball or the marker that's on the ground here. I will feel as though that I'm pulling my left hand or the butt end of the club down towards my right thigh. Okay, that's what I will feel like I'm doing here. You'll see how it's making the club head work this way, okay, as opposed to going that way. Okay, so my club head feels like it's going this way over the top of my hands as opposed to going behind my hands, and that's really what I'm trying to create. So first corner goes back, up over here, so hinging the wrist up over my shoulder, back down, hit the ball, and then back up over my, back up again, so that this butt end here is now pointing down towards that marker on the floor there. Okay, so I feel like I'm hitting the 3 corners. All right, it's just a feel. Take your time with it. You don't have to be, you know, on it straight away. So I'm going to swing back, first marker and second marker. Okay, I feel like I'm allowing the club to release from the top. Jack Nicklaus once said about he can't release the club soon enough in the top of his swing. This is exactly what he meant. Okay, and I got that from Mike Malaska, who's my coach, who said to me that, you know, he said he spoke to Jack, and that's what he was talking about. He didn't mean actually releasing the wrists or casting the club, which is what most people thought he meant. He meant about releasing the club from its momentum and getting it back on track. If I allow the club to go up and I just tip it this way just a fraction, it just wants to swing down on this natural path. Whereas if I'm going from back here, I can't help but then have to, with the momentum of the club, to then have to swing it through, and it rolls my hands through on impact. Okay, so just hit the corner, corner, up, corner, down, and hit the corner again. Okay, so back, corner, okay, hit that corner, corner, and corner again. This gets the club back out in front of me as opposed to me hitting from behind, okay, and getting the club stuck. It's a great drill to do, and it will get you hitting the ball a heck of a lot better, and you'll have more time to release it and control the club face as opposed to getting the club behind you and then having to whip through. So if we're looking from this point here, I'm getting the club head to go back, first corner, okay, up, second corner, hit the ball, and then up into my third corner, okay? And I just repeat that as much as I possibly can. Start with a nice, soft, easy club, like a 7-iron, 8-iron, something like that. You don't have to go straight into the heroics with your driver, but the feeling will be exactly the same with the driver as well. And the scary thing is you're going to have to start building that up to hit driver. If you can do that, I promise you, you'll get a different strike altogether on your ball. You'll find it hard to start with, but persevere, because after a while, it will start to become a bit more natural, okay? So persevere with it, get that feeling, corner, corner, hit and corner, okay? So you're hitting the 3 corners, back and through, okay? You're getting the club head to be back out in front of you. It's effortless power as well, and you will really enjoy striking the ball this way. I promise you, you'll love it. So there you have it, a quick drill on how to stop yourself from getting stuck on the downswing. It's called the corners drill, all right? There's plenty of information about that probably on the internet. If you look at Mike Malaska's corners drill, you'll find it there as well. But if you are struggling with getting the club caught behind you, I really urge you to try and give this a go. One of the things that you'll find is you need to take your time with it. Don't panic if you don't do it straight away. It's all pointer drills and doing exercises like this is you've got to learn to master them. Once you master them, it's just going to benefit your game. You're going to have much better synchronization through the ball. You're not dragging behind and flipping through. You will be able to control the club head a lot better, I promise you. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you're liking the shorter format. I'm trying to be a little bit shorter. I think my videos have gone a bit too long, but hopefully you're enjoying that. So if you do, please give it a thumbs up. Please like, please subscribe, and please share it with your friends as well. I'll catch you next week.